Good morning. How are you today, Nikki?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I love all
Good.
the art you have in the background.
Oh my gosh, you can tell that this side is my husband's and this side is mine.
That's awesome. You're sharing space. We
Yes.
2020 is all about compromise and figuring stuff out on the fly.
Yeah, and the joys of working from home and sharing an office space, right? It's like I need the office at this time. You can have it all of the other times.
It's like HR at home.
Yeah, right? Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Well, thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us today. I want to welcome everyone to 10 Minutes with 52. My name is Elaine Sheh. I'm the Community Engagement Manager. 52 Limited is a creative and tech staffing agency. We're locally owned and have been around for almost 15 years. As a staffing agency, we work closely with our partners and clients. And most of the time, that's the HR department of companies. And so we want to make sure that we are supporting the HR Management Association, that we are following best practices. And for those of you who are interested in a role in HR or who have been doing a little bit of HR while at work, I thought it was really, really great to have Nikki, who is the chapter director for the Portland HR Management Association, also known as PERMA, to join us today to talk about what they're doing in their organization, what types of events that they're having, how we can benefit from all of the great minds that they have part of their community, and learn about best practices. So thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about PERMA. Tell us
Yeah.
who the community consists of, and maybe a little bit about the origin story and what your role is.
Yeah, great. So PERMA's been around since 1947. We are one of the largest affiliate chapters of SHRM. So SHRM is the Society for HR Management. It's our national association. Nationally, there's about 300,000 members, but there's 575 chapters, just like PERMA. Of those 575 chapters, there's about 20 of these large chapters. So when I say large chapters, I mean it's over 1,000 members. So in the Portland area, we have over 1,000 members. And there's about 9 local chapters here in our state of SHRM. Our membership really consists of mostly HR professionals, but there's lots of business leaders, right? So if you think about the companies that make up most of the businesses in our area, they're smaller businesses. And so there's lots of office managers and there's lots of just business leaders who have to do HR as well. So we definitely have some of those people also within our membership as well.
What are you, I know that you've got robust programming you had pre-COVID. I know that you've had to pivot a little bit, being is that we're all, sheltered in place, which has kind of changed with phase 1, but in general, most people are still at home. So tell us a little bit about the events that you've pivoted to and kind of what the future of your events look like.
Yeah. So just like everyone else, it's all virtual programming, right? So we had to, our programs directors, our volunteer board, is very good at making sure that our programs are planned out for the year. But when COVID happened, it's like, hey, nobody wants to talk about training right now because it's not applicable, right? So we had to pivot and say, okay, what's relevant right now? So we did a lot of COVID trainings and lots of programming around that. And then now a lot of the programming that we're doing is around anti-racism and how do you actually make progress in your organization, how do you actually move the needle forward. Because if you think about who makes up the HR profession and what the demographics are of HR, it is mostly white women. And I think a lot of us, I want to say this, I think a lot of us want to make those changes. But I think some of us get a little bit paralyzed and scared of how to actually make those changes. So that's really the programming that we're focusing on going forward to actually move the needle.
And do you have to be a member to attend those events?
Not those events. So any of our COVID programming that we're obviously still going to continue to do, those are for members only, and it's free. But for the race equity and inclusion series that we're starting, you can attend as a non-member. There is a higher rate to attend as a non-member. But yes, our first program on that is actually next Tuesday, June 30th.
Great. And are there still slots left? Is it a
Yes.
two-part series, or is it a multiple?
Yeah, it's going to be a multiple part series. We haven't quite figured out how many series we're going to do, but we hope that it's going to build on top of each other. So our program next week is on white allyship with Alexis Braley James. And it's really about looking internally, right? I feel like you can't do this work unless you're willing to look at yourself individually before you can make changes in your organization. So after that, the series will sort of build on top of that.
Awesome. And you mentioned that the rate was a little bit higher. So it sounds like being a member, there's some advantages.
Yes.
What other advantages are there besides reduced event ticket rates or decreased ticket rates?
Great question. So we have a mentorship program that's for members only. So if you are a mentee or if you are a higher level and you would like to help give back to the community and you want to be a mentor, I believe this cohort we had 21 pairs. And it's the cool thing about our mentorship program is it's really mentee led. So the mentee has to take charge, the mentee has to reach out to the mentor, and it's really about taking charge of your career and how you sort of want and getting what you need, I guess, out of that mentorship relationship. There is member only programming similar to what I said about COVID. Volunteer opportunities. There's lots of benefits about being a member. Also with being a member, you are also a member of SHRM. And so you get all of the resources that SHRM has to offer, which PERMA is just not as large as SHRM to be able to offer.
Sure.
Yeah.
And do you have to be SHRM certified to be a PERMA member?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. So we can help you get certified if that's what you want to do. We have a certification study group that's really amazing if you really want to advance your career and if you want those initials behind your name. But you do not have to be SHRM certified first in order to join PERMA or SHRM.
Okay. And for those people, as a staffing agency, we find that a lot of our talent are thinking about, especially in this time period, right? When there's there's high rates of unemployment, and the opportunities that are out there are different than pre-pandemic times.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people are starting to think about career pivoting. For those individuals who may be office managers or who may be in kind of an admin role, who are thinking about making a full-scale change to a human resources role, what kind of advice or tips would you share with them? I mean, is you always get down this path and you're like, maybe this isn't the right decision. Maybe this is the right decision. Should I get certified? What kind of tips and advice would you give to those people who are in that frame of mind?
Yeah, I think number one, you have to be able to network, right? You have to learn who is actually in this role and what they actually do, because HR is an amazing place to be, because if you love people and if you love helping people, then this is where you need to be, right? So I would say network, meet other HR professionals, get an understanding of what potential roles could be. Because the other thing with HR is that there's a wide range of what you can do. You can focus on comp and benefits, you can be a trainer, you can be an HR manager. Like, what does that look like? And then from there, I would consider strongly looking at certification, and not because of the initials, right? But because, especially the SHRM certification, it's a competency-based exam. So it's going to test you on your ability to actually have interactions with employees. So when an employee comes to you and says, I need to take a leave of absence, it's going to test your knowledge on your ability to be able to handle that interaction and understand the laws and understand what the implications are. So it's a really, really great way to be able to show employers and potential employers, like, hey, I am certified, I took this test, I understand how to actually do this job.
And you're right. I mean, HR is such a wide bucket, right? There's the legal ramifications, there's the culture, there's talent acquisition, there's all of the legal, right? There's so many buckets that I can't even quite name them all. And I think that as we move further along in kind of talking about workplace and what that looks like in the future, there's going to be more roles that kind of come out of that. right? So it's really exciting to hear that there's such a great organization led by such a wonderful human being, and that there's such great programming that's relevant. I think that's really important. What's the best website for people to visit? Okay.
Yep. So our website is portlandhrma.org. Check it out. There's an About Us section that talks about what the membership benefits, and then of course how to join. And again, email me if you have questions. My email address is actually on the website as well. It's chapterdirector@portlandhrma.org. But just connect with me on LinkedIn, all of that good stuff. If you have questions, I'd be happy to help you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today and sharing a little bit more about your organization. And thanks so much for everyone that attended 10 Minutes with 52 today. We hope you have a great day.
Great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.